Matt here for CLG with another exciting installment in our lessons on music theory. Today we're going to be talking about chromatic intervals. Chromatic intervals are any interval on any note that we can play, not only notes in the major scale. So if we're looking at the key of C major, as we did last time, and we identify that there's 7 notes that make up the major key, we have major second, major third, perfect fourth and fifth, major sixth, major seventh and octave. So those 7 notes make up that major key, but we're left over with these 5 black notes in the key of C major, and the way that we identify them is based on their major counterparts. So if we have a major second and a major third, and any note that's flattened from a major interval we call a minor interval. So take a major third, take it down a semitone or a half step, we get a minor third interval. Likewise, a major second taken down half a step is a minor second interval. Now, this only relates to the notes that we call major. So that's the second, third, sixth and seventh notes of the scale. So we have a minor third, minor second. Here we have the 6th note of the scale. So we can take it down a semitone to create a minor 6. Here we have the 7th note, minor 7th. Okay, the one that's odd here is this note here, which it built off the perfect 5th. Now this is not a major interval, so we can't call it a minor interval. So what we call it is a diminished interval. And so this note is a diminished 5th. Okay, another name for that note is the tritone. So that means that a perfect interval taken down a half step becomes a diminished interval. Now a perfect interval taken up a half step we call augmented. To augment something, we add something to it. In this case, we're adding half a step or a semitone. You can see here, clearly, like if we take a perfect interval and we take it up by a half step, it becomes augmented. If we take a major interval and take it down by a half step, it becomes minor. This applies to major intervals. This applies to perfect intervals. So let's have a quick look at that in practice. If we take C again, we take a perfect fourth, which in this case is F, and we take it up a semitone or a half step, what we get is an augmented fourth, which is F sharp. If by chance we needed to call it a diminished 5th, what we'd see here is G flat, not F sharp. This is a fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's sharpened. It's an augmented 4th interval. And we write it as plus, literally a plus sign and 4, or AUG4, or here it's written as A4. Okay, so now we're going to put this into practice. So what I've got open here are your supplementary materials, page 2, your major scale grid, and I've got open your assessment task itself at exercise 7. So what we're going to do is we're going to relate each interval to its major scale and see if it's flattened or sharpened based on what naturally occurs in its major scale. So our first example, we have F going to B. So we're in the key of F, so we look up the key of F, and we're looking for the B note in the key of F. So in the key of F we have F, G, A and B flat. So B flat, okay, so that's a perfect fourth. But here we have the note of B, and we need to identify what interval that is. So B flat to B is raised by a half step or a semitone. So we have a perfect fourth of B flat, but it's been raised. So what we have here is a perfect interval raised as a half step. It's an augmented interval. In this case, it's an augmented 4th interval. That's one way to do it. That's my dog Millie. Not sure what she's doing at the moment. Okay, so the next interval that we have is C going to D flat. So again, we look up the key of C. So C to D is the natural, it's a major second in the key of C. Here we have D flat, so it's a major interval, it's been taken down by a half step. A major interval taken down by half a step becomes a minor interval. The other way we can identify it on page 4 of your materials is simply by counting up half step from where we started. So let's have a look at number 4, for example. We have E to G. So if I just get out my keyboard quickly, Where is it? There it is. Okay, so we've got E going to G. So we're just going to literally count up half steps. We have 1, 2, 3. E, 1, 2, 3. We look down our table. 3 half steps creates a minor third interval. This is a small m 3 minor third interval. It's as simple as that. There's 2 ways to identify chromatic intervals. I wish you the best of luck with it. It's good fun.